Ed, I'm sorry. I should have called first, asked if I could use the place.
What are you talking about? That's why we told you where the spare key was. So you could come up whenever.
Yeah, still.
What are you playing hooky from, anyway?
Decorated war veterans, heaven forgive me. What about you?
Oh, you name it. You know what's the first thing to hit me whenever I come up here? I miss my mother. You know, traffic has pretty much covered up her tracks everywhere else, but not here. That's strange, isn't it, for a middle-aged man to...
No. Believe me, a lot of people miss Bert.
It's not that she knew everything, but she understood everything, which is exactly kind of the opposite of my condition.
Bert led a very substantial life, not unlike your own.
My life is about a mile wide and 1 inch deep.
Oh, bull.
Well, it must be exactly what I wanted, though. It's a full and glorious reflection of nobody else.
Listen, Ed, I would give my eye teeth to have what you have.
Yeah, most people would. I think I'd give my eye teeth, too. All that contentment.
But what?
God, do I sound like I'm complaining? I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I have a beautiful wife, a beautiful daughter waiting for me at home. I'm at the top of my profession. Surrounded by people who are almost nightmarishly familiar. You know what it is? I think I'm coming up against that fear that I am an unworthy heir to my predecessors. I mean, I am the last male Bauer to be keeping the home fire burning. What for? I have no idea, but it is still burning.
Yeah. Things do not satisfy the way we were led to believe.
Take a Senate campaign, for instance. Once you're doing it, it's about as stimulating as watching tires burn. I think, Ed, that we should rise up against this conspiracy that deluded us in our youth. Although I seem to remember, in an undergraduate philosophy course, that as a rule, people only get what they want when they can no longer use it. But then again, that same book went on to both prove and disprove the existence of a supreme being.
Good. Yeah, I keep waiting for this older and wiser stuff to kick in, too. I mean, older's coming along quite nicely.
Yes.
I grew up in this town knowing everybody. And, of course, everybody knew me. It was like having 15,000 surrogate parents. Of course, Springfield isn't the same little burg it was when I grew up here. Now it's actually possible for me to walk down the street without somebody coming up to me and grabbing me by the shoulders and staring me in the eyes and saying, "You're Bill Bauer's boy, aren't you?" Actually, I kind of like it. They always kindly averted their eyes from my youthful transgressions and then my not-so-youthful transgressions. Again, probably because I was Bill Bauer's boy. You know, it's like this town is a hammock that I never fell out of, you know? And then thinking of my ambition to leave my mark on the world, it seemed just as pursuable here as in, say, Zanzibar, so I stayed. And then all my modest, sensible dreams came true. And Ross, I'm a little piece of Americana.
You are?
Yes.
Would you be my campaign mascot?
Oh, I don't think you'd want that. Why not? Because I screw up. Don't ask me why. I don't even have to be unhappy. Don't have to be losing my senses. I was on the brink of going over the brink this afternoon. I always pay the consequences, but you know, the thing is, the consequences are never that bad. So why is that? What is going on? Is that still because I'm Bill Bauer's boy? Who knows?
Man, it's no bed of roses, is it, being a pillar of the community?
Sure it is. Of course it is. As long as you don't mind that most of the roses are plastic.
Roger hit you? Not hard. I mean, not to hurt me. Well, it just seems like... Oh, he was just so furious. I don't think that he knew... Oh, why am I trying You know, sometimes when the worst thing that could happen finally does happen, it's almost a relief. Is it? Ross didn't try to explain me away the way he did with my mother. He stood up for me. He stood up for us. Even told Daddy he loved me. Well, the L word still ties him in knots, so he kind of picked his way around it, but we all knew what he meant. I just wish I knew what my father was going to do. I mean, whatever he does to Ross, he does to me, and he knows it. It just almost doesn't matter, though. I mean, I will fight to the death against anything that would cost Ross this election, but when the dust settles, I do know now that win or lose, he's still mine. Boy, you weren't sounding that secure a few minutes ago. Well, I think I was letting my natural paranoia get the best of me, because I haven't seen him since then. You know, with any other man that I've ever been with or married or just fooled around with, it just made perfect sense that when the phone didn't ring for 15 minutes, that was it. I was never going to see them again. But it's so different with Ross. It's like I graduated from a bicycle to a Rolls Royce, and I have to keep reminding myself that the chain won't fall off. I remember that feeling really well. With Ed? I was a mess when I came back to Springfield. I had just walked out of a relationship that I had thought was perfect with this guy that I was living with in Long Island. Living with? Maureen. Yes, well, Maureen Bauer, PTA Madonna, is a relatively new creation. Anyway, after several happy years, I found out that he was cheating. Such a stupid schoolboy term. Of course, all the other ones are so inept or melodramatic. Terms like sleeping around, unfaithful, adulterous. It's true, I never thought of that. And I never thought something that could only be defined by words that were so stupid could hurt so much. It really did me in. My maturity went down the drain, which of course is something that maturity should do every now and again, so I came home to Mom, and suddenly there was Ed Bauer. And this light bulb went off in my brain, and I thought, why are you doing this wrong when all it would take to do it right is him? Makes all the difference. Someone you can trust. Of course, in 5 years, everyone tells a lie, and in 10 years, everyone does something unforgivable. But you keep going on, of course, if you can, and you can. But it takes a slightly different mental attitude. Trust takes on another meaning. It's not that you trust him not to break your heart. It's that he'll be sitting in the living room at home when he does. And he'll remember to bring in the dry cleaning in the morning. I mean, I know it sounds terrible, Blake, but it's not. It's everything. It's happiness. Sometimes I think the sovereignty of nations and the peace in the world in general depends on us old married ladies keeping our mouths shut. Never mind. Trust him, love him. You might as well. The alternative isn't nearly as nice.